I stood at the crossroads for so long I became it. I exist somewhere between past, future, public, private, comedy, tragedy, you, us. I am the intersection, a collage poet. Many of my poems come with ancestral notes, small stories, so I offer this to you. I once went on a date with a rich white man. He was an asshole, but I thought if we didn't talk about politics, it'd be fine. He took me to the fanciest dinner I'd ever been to and proceeded to explain to me how poor people needed to do more to help themselves. I let that man spend $300 on me, left, and wrote this. He loves the version of me he can put inside his pocket. It makes him feel good. How small I can become until I show my first sign of independence. My spirit flies from in between his teeth. How embarrassing. He thought he chewed me up. I do not apologize for my skin being tough, because I come from a long line of loud bitches and I am through with submission unless it is a sexual fantasy and I am confused. Because my fire is what he said he liked best about me. Then he tried to hold my entire being in the palm of his hand, only to act surprised at the smell of his own skin burning. I guess it's a mutual misunderstanding. I mean, I'm a lot stronger than my fragile limbs appear, and his hands look softer than when they grabbed me, but it's all right. Because I know when I lie broken with my roots and soil exposed, with a little bit of sunshine and water and time, I will regrow. But he conceals blisters with fists clenched, and I wonder what happens to hands not offered time to heal because they refuse to acknowledge the wounds they made. My PTSD gives me this superpower to time travel, and his sudden violence stumbles me into a memory of someone else who reminds me of my father, and suddenly I am so embarrassed that I allowed myself to search for them inside his mouth. But I'm not gonna lie, I got caught up in his daydreams of a future filled with uncomfortably fancy dinners that I was blindsided to discover this man. He's a mirage of a reality he lacks the tenacity to build because the hard work of his life has been outsourced. He expects women to provide free labor, constructing his hope, laying down his foundations, fucking with his wiring, while he downsizes women's dreams and taxes my abilities. Toxic masculinity, it exhausts me. I open my mouth to speak. He warns me not to interrupt him. His emotions disguise themselves as cheap insults that cannot conceal the weight of his privilege. And then a moment of clarity sets in when I remember puzzle pieces can just as easily be tectonic plates. So I regurgitate these gender dynamics and I remove this bill of sale from around my neck because my body wasn't actually on the dinner menu. I rip my voice back from underneath his tongue and the questions, they roll out of me like gentle waves. Am I just a hunt? Is it just temptation? Do men like you need to conquer things so badly? Are you disappointed that I am not my colonized islands? Shocked that my ancestors are still angry at yours? And then the divide between us, it ruptures the air. And suddenly, and all at once, I realize we don't speak the same language. I try over and over again to explain that he can love me for my vibrancy, or he can leave me to ripen because I am determined to harvest with or without man's touch. But I realize it is impossible to translate for ears that refuse to acknowledge we have a voice.